we did this test, which was test 1 based on DNA code of life. We did question 1. We did the whole of section A actually, and we did question 2 on section B. So today we are continuing. We are doing 2.3, and I'm sure you guys can see it. It's going to be pretty easier now based on protein synthesis. Now, the statement is very important, guys, so that you understand what is happening in the diagram. Guys, even if you don't see what's happening in the diagram, sometimes the statement discloses what is happening in the diagram. Are we guys together on that?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So basically, the statement says the diagram below represents a process of protein synthesis. So it means that this is one process that happens under protein synthesis. It's a process of protein synthesis. How many processes of protein synthesis do you know? Yes, Yangob.
2, say.
2. Mention them one by one.
It is transcription and translation.
Yes, so we've got transcription and translation. So your mind is already tuned in. It's already know that this diagram that is provided, it can either be transcription or it can be translation. Hence, 2.3.1 says name the process shown above. Let's hear Sam. Yes, Sam. Name the process that is shown above. This process of protein synthesis is represented by this diagram. Sam is not talking. Yes, Yangoba.
Translation.
It is translation. Yes, guys, it is translation. So let's write it. It is translation. And on 2.3.2, you would have to give me a reason why. Why would you say that the process shown in this diagram is a process of translation?
Because it happens in ribosome.
Okay, so 2.3.2, let's just write 2.3.2. 2.3.2, let me just reread the statement before you answer, Samuel. Give an observable reason for your answer in 2.3.1. My question is, when they say give an observable reason, what do they imply? Let's start them. If they say an observable reason, yes, Oseho?
Anticondoms are attached to codons.
Okay. Before we start answering the question, yes, that's correct indeed. But now my question first, when they say an observable reason, what are they looking for from you? Yes, Sam?
The thing
something that you can see. Yes, something that you can see from the diagram, guys. So as much as you guys know that during translation this happens and this happens, at least make sure that whatever it is that you're gonna write here, you can definitely see it from the what? From the diagram. Let us hear one observable reason for 2 marks. Yes or no?
Yes, as I said, it happens in the ribosome in number 6.
Yes, you can see that organelle number 6, it can be a ribosome because of its a round-like shape. It's a ribosome. So translation occurs at the ribosome. So we have to assume that 6 is a ribosome for that, and they will give you a mark. So it occurs at the ribosome. Yes, Yangoba?
I wanted to ask you, number 6, you see that the ribosome it divides into 2, ne? They won't ask for the name of the ribosome, the part that is down and the part that is on top.
No. Just call it the ribosome. Don't complicate. You don't have to know why is it kind of split in half. It's just their diagrammatic way. Okay. Also, you were talking of another reason. Well, what was the reason that you can see that this is a translation occurring?
tRNA is attached to the ribosome.
Yes, we can see that we've got what? We've got tRNA. Do you see, guys, that there are tRNA molecules in the diagram? Can you all guys see them?
Yes.
Yes, guys, these are tRNA molecules. I've already been showing you the shapes of tRNA molecules a couple of times. All of these, we've got 3 tRNA molecules here. So the presence of tRNA molecules in the diagram, it suggests that translation is about to happen or it is happening. So tRNA molecules are present. What else, guys, can you see? What other observable reason can you give? Yes, Sam?
mRNA is attached to ribosome.
Yes, we've got mRNA that is attached to the ribosome, okay? There are many other things, guys. Okay, can you see the mRNA, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Which part is the mRNA? What is it labeled as in the diagram?
Number 5.
Yes, number 5. It's more like this entire molecule number 5. So this entire molecule number 5, this one that looks straight, the one I'm highlighting with the red, this is your mRNA molecule. Okay, so the fact that you've got an mRNA molecule attached to the ribosome, it means that translation is happening or it's about to happen. Okay, can you all guys see that? What other observable reason, guys? There's someone who talked about codons and anticodons. What about them? Let's hear who said that.
It's me, sir.
Yes, Oseho. What did you say?
Anticondos and codons are attached to each other.
Okay, I cannot hear you properly. Please repeat.
I said codons and anticondos are attached to each other.
Yes, so codons and anticodons, they are kind of matching here where we're having a presence of codons and anticodons that are complementary to one another. Yes, Yango.
Then say I think we have a presence of amino acids.
Yes, guys, there are many things. There are many things that you can see there. Yes, codons are matching with anticodons, or they are pairing up with anticodons, are matching with anticodons. Yes, you can also see amino acids. Can you guys see amino acids here from the diagram?
Yes, sir.
Yes, these round-like structures. I'm sure, guys, we already said that the shape of a tRNA molecule, we know it. It looks like a T, the one that I've highlighted in yellow, the ones that I'm rubbing right now. So on top of a tRNA molecule, I'll always tell you guys that on top of a tRNA molecule, there are circular shapes that represent amino acid. So the fact that you can see tRNA molecules, you can see amino acids that are bonded by a peptide bond. So we have got amino acids that are present, or amino acids that are being carried to the ribosome. There are many, guys. You see, we have already made a whole 5 reasons, but they only wanted 1 for 2 marks. So amino acids are present, or amino acids are being carried towards the ribosome. It's more like a good way of putting things. So do you guys see that this is very simple? You just look for the reasons that are observable, something that you can see from the diagram. You don't just cook up your reasons, guys, and you'll be like, this and this and that without seeing it from the diagram. Okay, that's why they say give an observable reason, something that you can observe and see from the diagram, and hence tell about it. So now let's go to 2.3.3 without further ado. Identify the, so the question say identify, so it means you must tell us whatever that is identify it. Let's start with 2.3.3a. Identify the chemical bond 1. They've already told you that it's a chemical bond. Let's hear Sam.
Peptide bond, sir.
It's a peptide bond. Do you guys all see chemical bond number 1?
Yes, sir.
Yes, between these 2 amino acids, we've got this label 1. This label 1 is a chemical bond. And this chemical bond, we've already said that these 2 are amino acids. So automatically, the chemical bond between 2 amino acids is known as a peptide bond. So you write peptide bond. Guys, is this hard? What?
No, sir.
All right. And then identify the molecule labeled 5. So we are looking for a molecule. Guys, before you answer, guys, how many molecules have we studied about? Let me just hear that. How many molecules have we just studied about?
2. Maybe.
Tell me about them, Oseho. Which molecules have we studied about in this topic so far?
DNA and RNA.
Yes, we've talked about DNA and RNA, and we've said that there are 3 types of RNA molecules. So whenever they say molecule, you must think somewhere around that. You cannot say a molecule is a codon, guys. There's someone else who wrote a molecule is a codon. No, it's not the same thing. The molecules that we are talking about here, it is the nucleic acids, which is the DNA, the mRNA, the tRNA, or the rRNA. All right. So, Siyanqoba, you can now identify what is molecule labeled 5.
It is mRNA, sir.
Yes, it's an mRNA molecule. Can all guys see that the molecule labeled 5 here is an mRNA?
Yes.
Although
Yes,
it can be confused because you can see that this label 5, it is kind of showing this entire thing. Maybe you will confuse it with AUG and you say that it's a codon, but it's okay. It's understandable that you have confused them, but the moment they say identify the molecule, a codon is not a molecule. All right. So even though the diagram may suggest that they are pointing at this AUG, and you like to call it a codon, the fact that they've said it's a molecule, you need to remember the molecules that we have studied, which is DNA, it is mRNA, we've done tRNA as well as rRNA. Okay, now let's go to 2.3.4 now, so that we can just finish this quickly. Okay, now 2.3.4 now says you must give the name of the molecule labeled 4. We've already talked about the molecule, guys, already. Molecule, we have got 3 types that we really focus on the most: DNA, mRNA, tRNA. The ribosomal RNA, you never be asked to draw it. Yes, Vuvu, what is the name of molecule labeled 4? This 4.
tRNA.
Yes, the tRNA, guys. I already told you how the shape of a tRNA molecule looks like. It kind of looks like a T. This T is a tRNA molecule. So you can say that you can say tRNA or you can say transfer RNA. Okay, so here you are allowed to say tRNA when you're answering such long questions. But when you're answering biological terms, guys, maybe they say the name of the molecule that carries amino acids to the ribosome. You don't say tRNA because they are talking about biological terms. This question, guys, a question about biological term, when they say give the biological term of something, you are supposed to write the full name. If they ask you the name of the molecule that carries amino acids to the ribosome, you write transfer RNA. But when it comes to long questions such as this, where you have to identify the molecule rather, you can say tRNA. Are we guys clear on that one?
Yes.
Yes. So it looks like you guys are understanding this. For I'm proud of most of you guys. When it comes to the test, you aced the test. Most of you did silly mistakes, okay? And that can be fixed. I just think you need more discipline and you need to because you know the content. But the thing is, I don't know, are you guys disciplined enough to follow up your work? Because even if you know the stuff and you understand it, without discipline, you're not going anywhere. So please, guys, try your best to discipline yourself, because I've been shouting for millions of times in videos and in these sessions telling you guys to make sure that you follow up on your work. Okay. So now give the collective name. We're looking for the collective name for the nitrogenous bases labeled 3. Okay, let me just clear the way here. Labeled 3. Do you guys see where 3 is? So let's hear from Siyanqoba the nitrogenous bases that are labeled 3.
It's anticodons, sir.
Yes, it's an anticodon because remember they said a collective name. So it means all together when you collect them and you put them at one place. The nitrogenous base that we're having here at 3, they are found on molecule 4, which we have identified to be tRNA. The nitrogenous bases is U, A, C. Okay, and 3 nitrogenous bases that are following each other found on a tRNA molecule, or a triplet of bases found on a tRNA molecule. They are known as what? They are known as an anticodon. Collectively, you give them one name as an anticodon. Are we guys together?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I just don't want to disturb the class, but I have a suggestion. Why don't you set another paper for those who failed and for those who made silly mistakes?
Okay, we'll see about that. Yeah, we'll see about that. That's a good suggestion, Sengo.
Yes.
Okay. So now the third question, they say give the name, they want the name of the organelle labeled 6. This organelle labeled 6. What is the organelle labeled 6? Yes, Vovo?
Ribosome.
Yes, it's a ribosome, guys. We can see that the mRNA is attaching itself to this organelle. It must be a ribosome. So there are only 2 organelles that I said, guys, they're involved in protein synthesis. It is the nucleus as well as the ribosome. In the nucleus, transcription happens. At the ribosome, translation happens. So are we guys clear on that? Are we guys okay?
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
2.3.5 now says name. There are 2 things here. They say name and give the sequence of the bases at triplet labeled 7. So this is triplet that is labeled number 7, and we have already identified with molecule 5, which contains that triplet. This molecule 5, we say that it's an mRNA molecule. According to the way that we identified it, we say it's an mRNA molecule. Now there is a triplet of bases here that I've highlighted with blue here, and it is labeled 7. It's on an mRNA. Now they say name it, that triplet 7, and also give the sequence of the bases at that triplet. Let's hear a Vuvu.
The codon.
The name is known as a codon. It is because we are having 3 consecutive bases that are following each other on an mRNA molecule, so it must be a codon. Now give the sequence of the bases.
ACC.
ACC. Guys, how did you figure out this sequence? You can see that this triplet at 7, these 3 bases that you can see here at number 7 on an mRNA molecule, they are actually matching with UGG from the tRNA molecule, because guys, you can see clearly that this is a tRNA molecule. It's a tRNA molecule carrying an amino acid on top of it. So it has got these 3 nitrogenous bases UGG. Are you guys all able to see that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, let me zoom in again. You can see properly. This UGG is 3 nitrogenous bases that are consecutive, and they are found on a tRNA molecule. So it's more like an anticodon because it's found on a tRNA molecule. And you can see that the triplet 7 that we have here, it is found on an mRNA molecule, and it is actually trying to match up with the UGG. So you just need to do the base pairing. You just need to pair up the base and say, okay, you have got an anticodon UGG. So if we want to kind of see on the mRNA, what does it match up with? You say that you know that uracil matches up with adenine when it comes to RNA, and then guanine matches up with cytosine, and then the other guanine matches up with cytosine. So on the mRNA molecule, we'll definitely have ACC as the codon, which is triplet number 7. I'm sure we named it as a codon, and then the sequence is going to match, or it's going to be complementary to the anticodon. Are we guys all together?
Yes, sir.
So it's 2 marks because you are naming and you're also giving the sequence. Then now 2.3.6, give the number. So now we want a number. We also want the name. Guys, you read the statement, you read the question very carefully so that you understand it. Give a number, then you also give the name of the part that serves as a building block of proteins. Okay, so let's hear Siango.
So I think it is number 2 amino acids.
So it is number 2 in the diagram, and it is amino acids. This is pretty clear, guys, because you guys are aware that the building blocks of proteins, or the monomers of proteins, they are known as amino acids. So you just need to find the number that is labeling the amino acids in this particular diagram. In this particular diagram, you can see that the amino acids are labeled 2. So you give the number of the label is 2, you give the name is amino acid. Then that's how you get your 12 out of 12. Clean marks. Simple. Do you guys all see that?
It's fair.
Yeah, guys. Please take your work very seriously, because if you don't, you're gonna get in trouble. Now 2.4, which is our last question that we have here. You read the statement number 1. Now the statement says the diagram below shows, this is wrongly written. The diagram below shows a portion of an mRNA strand. This time they didn't even close anything for you. They've told you that the given diagram is a portion of an mRNA strand. So it's actually mRNA itself. Now the question is, the instruction is, study this diagram and answer the questions that will follow. Now let's look at the questions that will follow. We have got 2.4.1 then. 2.4.1, what does it say? Write down the complementary DNA-based triplet to the molecule shown above from left to right.
Say, I think I'm trying. I think it is TCA.
TCA. Guys, let's try to figure out what happened. You guys should remember that DNA, it is used to transcribe mRNA. So basically the mRNA molecule, it is created from a DNA strand. Because remember, guys, when we explained the process of transcription, we said that one strand serves as a template to form mRNA. So basically one DNA strand, it serves as a what? It serves as a template to form mRNA. And then now to explain this in terms of our nitrogenous bases, when we have got a DNA strand that is having a base triplet, which is going to be A, T, okay, let's just say AT, okay, ATT, and then C, and then A. Okay, and then maybe on top, let's just have G. So this is a normal DNA strand, guys. This is a normal DNA strand because remember, a DNA does have a thymine. So we're only using one strand to form mRNA. So when we want to form mRNA using the nucleotides that are found inside, using the RNA nucleotides that are found in the nucleoplasm, the guanine on the mRNA, it will match with the cytosine. The adenine will match with the what? It will match with a uracil because we are using RNA nucleotides, the ones that contain uracil and not thymine, because we're trying to produce mRNA from DNA. The thymine matches with what? With an adenine, and then the thymine with an adenine. The cytosine with a guanine, and then the adenine matches with the what? With the uracil. Okay, so this will form our mRNA strand. I definitely did the session on this and I explained it in further detail, so this is just a reminder. Okay, so we said, guys, that when we are having 3 nitrogenous bases that are following each other on a DNA molecule or on a DNA strand, what do we call it? Let's say, for example, this GAT, these are 3 nitrogenous bases. They are following each other, they are consecutive. What do we call that?
DNA-based triplet.
Yes, it's a DNA-based triplet. I said that this is a DNA-based triplet. It's just 3 bases that are following each other. It's just 3 nitrogenous bases following each other. So here we're having 2 DNA-based triplets because we also have this TCA. You can see that we're having what? TCA. So these DNA-based triplets, they are the ones that actually form the codons of an mRNA. Because remember that this guanine matched with the cytosine, adenine matched with the uracil, thymine matched with an adenine. So we create a codon on the mRNA, because on the mRNA, 3 nitrogenous bases that are following each other, they are known as a what? They are known as a codon. So when you come to mRNA, this CUA, it's a codon that has been created. This is a codon because it's on an mRNA molecule, right? It's a codon that has been created by the base triplet GAT. This AGU, these three next consecutive bases on mRNA, this is another codon, and it has been created by which base triplet is TCA. So in this case, for this diagram, they gave you what? They gave you AGU on the mRNA molecule. They want to now know the DNA strand that created this mRNA molecule. What was the base triplet that was responsible for creating this AGU? So you just need to reverse the thing and just go back to DNA and say that if we're having a DNA strand that is creating mRNA, the adenine, it would have to bond with the what? With the thymine, because on a DNA strand, nitrogenous base adenine pairs up with thymine. And then on G, guanine pairs up with what? With cytosine. Uracil pairs up with that? With adenine. So this is the DNA strand. This is the DNA base triplet that was able to create our codon, which is AGU. So the base triplet, which is TCA on the DNA molecule, on a DNA strand, was able to produce or was able to create or transcribe the codon AGU. Are we guys together on that? Are we together, guys? Yes. So I thought that I should explain it so that you understand, guys, that it starts from DNA, it goes to mRNA. Then mRNA, obvious, it will look for an anticodon in a tRNA molecule. So here we're having what? We're having TCA, that's just 1 mark. All right. Let's go to 2.4.2. Name. Okay, now they say they want a name, and they also want you to describe the process that led to the production of the molecule above. All right, so the molecule that we have above here, we've already been told that it's an mRNA strand, or it's coming from the mRNA molecule. So in other words, they're saying describe the process that led to the formation of an mRNA molecule. Let us see. Let's see, guys, name the process and describe it. Raise your hands, guys, and talk. What is the process? Yes or no?
Transcription.
Yes, guys, the formation of an mRNA molecule, or the process responsible for the formation of an mRNA, is known as transcription. So we are transcribing mRNA. Is the transcription of mRNA. This is a mark itself, okay, because they've told you to name the process. But even if they don't tell you to name the process, guys, you must always write the name of the process before you start describing it. Because if you just start and saying DNA double helix unwinds, that doesn't count as anything per se. You must have a heading or a title that will specify whatever thing that you are describing. Let's hear, what can you say about transcription? Quick, guys, the points. Yes, the DNA double helix
unwinds.
Yes, so DNA double helix structure or DNA double helix unwinds. Guys, this is where you shouldn't make a mistake. When the first point, what happens to the DNA double helix, it unwinds. You shouldn't say the double helix unwinds. It's not a dog's double helix, it's a DNA double helix. So you must be specific that you are talking about the natural shape of a DNA molecule. So you cannot just come and say the double helix unwinds. What double helix? Whose double helix structure? It is the DNA's double helix structure or double helix shape that unwinds. What happens when it unwinds after that?
Weak hydrogen bonds between nitrogenous bases break.
Yes, so you can say the weak hydrogen bonds. I won't write the full hydrogen because you guys know there's the weak hydrogen bonds between nitrogenous bases break. What else can you say instead of saying that the weak hydrogen bonds break? Yes, Sam?
DNA unzips.
Yes. DNA unzips. Did
No,
you say
sir.
that?
Both strands unzips.
I didn't hear you properly, Sam. What can you say?
It unzips, sir.
What unzips?
Those two strands, sir.
Yes, the DNA double strand unzips. You don't just say it unzips, guys, because you need to be specific that what is unzipping are these two strands, or these strands are kind of being separated from one another. So you say the DNA double strand, the DNA double strand, DNA double strand unzips. You can either say weak hydrogen bonds break between nitrogenous bases, or you can say that the DNA double strand unzips. And then what happens? What happens, guys? Are you guys still there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, what happens after the DNA
Well,
double
sir,
strand unzips? Uh-huh. Yes.
One strand acts as a template to form complementary mRNA molecule.
Okay, before we get there, first of all, when it unzips, it will form two separate strands. Okay, or the strand separates. Yes, Sam? Yes, Sam, you can talk.
well, sir, after it formed two separate strands, free nucleotides from free mRNA nucleotides from the nucleoplasm will arrange themselves to complementary.
Okay, the first thing that will happen. Okay, the first thing that will happen, as Oseho said, only one strand serves as a template. Okay, only one strand serves as a template, or it acts as a template. A template to do what? To form mRNA. To form mRNA. And how does it form mRNA? You can now answer, Sam.
Free
How does it form?
nucleotides
Using
arranged
what?
to form mRNA.
Using what?
Free nucleotides.
Wrong. -1. Guys, avoid not being specific. Using free dogs nucleotides. Do dogs have nucleotides? Tell us whose nucleotides are we using here?
mRNA nucleotide.
We're using RNA nucleotides. Yes, using free RNA nucleotides. Okay, we're using free RNA nucleotides only. Did you say, are we done with this point?
No, sir.
Where do we find the
From
nucleotides?
the nucleoplasm.
Yes, from the nucleoplasm. If you don't mention that, I was penalizing all the marks, because you cannot just tell us of a free RNA nucleotides that are coming from a random place. Tell us that these nucleotides are found in the cytoplasm of a cell, of a nucleus. All right, and then whatever points that you say, you will say a complementary mRNA strand will be formed or something like that to conclude. But you already have more than 5 marks here from this. So here a complementary mRNA strand is formed. Or you can tell us that the mRNA leaves the nucleus, but it's not really part of transcription. Transcription is about making the RNA. So a complementary mRNA strand is formed. Are we guys seeing this? Are we guys seeing it?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yeah, so this is usually a compulsory mark. Writing the heading is a compulsory mark. If you don't write the heading, that you're gonna be in a deep problem. All right. So we're going to a 10 minutes break. Go and enjoy your break and refresh and refresh. When we come back after 10 minutes, we finish up the corrections. Then we talk about mutations and how they happen. Hey Lapo, I know that you've been enjoying this wonderful video and most likely you've been enjoying watching this handsome face in front of you, but sorry ladies, I'm taken. I just here to tell you that Educate is on the road to 100,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. So please click the subscribe button and click the notification bell so that you get notifications whenever I post new videos. I want you guys to pass. Okay, so if you make my dream true, I reach 100k subscribers, I will make your dreams come true. I will even get you to varsity. I will get you with 7 distinctions. Yes. Okay guys, let us continue from where we left off. We are now going to 2.4.3. Because 2.4.2 we are done describing the entire process of transcription of mRNA, and I hope that all of you guys understood that one. Now we're going to 2.4.3, whereby the question says state 3 structural difference of DNA nucleotides and RNA nucleotides. Okay, it's fine. I removed 2 marks from this question. Yeah, so actually let's just say state 2 structural differences. I had to reduce the mark allocation because only 2 is fine. Okay, when they say they want 3 structural differences, guys, what do you think this term structural differences suggest?
Izinto ezohluke ngazo.
In terms of what? In terms, yeah, izinto ezohluke ngazo kodwa in terms of ngayiphi indlela kahle kahle. Let's just ask in that way. Yes, sir.
In terms of structures, like
In terms
for
of
example,
structure.
Yes, sir.
Yes, in terms of structure. Okay. Structure simply means how something looks like, in simple terms, how something looks like. Because sometimes they will change the question and say state 3 functional differences between DNA and RNA. You're not going to mention the same thing. If they say state 3 functional differences between DNA and RNA, you have to look at the differences between their functions. But now they are saying state 3 structural differences between DNA nucleotides and RNA nucleotides. And guys, on this question, they are very specific. They want the differences between DNA and RNA nucleotides, not the differences between DNA and RNA molecule as a whole. They just want to know that when we have got DNA nucleotides and we have got RNA nucleotides, what is the difference between those two? So please guys, don't tell me Uti DNA is double-stranded, RNA is single-stranded. No, they didn't ask about the entire DNA molecule. They want to know about the nucleotides specifically. They want to know the differences between the nucleotides in the structure or in how they are built. So we are going to mention those differences, and then I'm going to write them down. Just in most of the times they will ask this in a tabular format, but a table actually makes things to be easier. Okay, so this is 2.4.3. okay, all right, so I'm going to say this is DNA nucleotide, right? The difference between a DNA nucleotide and an RNA nucleotide in terms of their structure. I only want 2 of them here, guys, not an entire 3. Okay, let's hear the differences, guys, the structural differences between these 2 nucleotides. Yes, Sam?
DNA nucleotide has thymine, then RNA nucleotide has uracil.
Yes, so the DNA nucleotides contain the nitrogenous base thymine, or you can say just they contain thymine. So the nitrogenous base thymine, it is found on a DNA nucleotide. All right, and then what about the RNA nucleotide?
Is uracil.
Uracil, yes. So instead of thymine, when we go to the RNA nucleotide, it contains the nitrogenous base uracil. So I'm just going to write it contains uracil. Are you guys all able to see that?
Yes.
What is the other difference that we can consider?
DNA has deoxyribose sugar.
Yes, so a DNA nucleotide, specifically it's a nucleotide, guys, not the entire DNA molecule. So the DNA nucleotide, it is made up of deoxyribose sugar, or you can say that it contains oxyribose sugar. What about for the RNA nucleotides? What sugar does it contain?
Ribose sugar.
Yes. So the RNA nucleotides are made up of ribose sugar. Are you guys still able to hear me?
Yes.
Sir.
All right. So
Yes, sir.
if it is a tabular question, let's just say they say tabulate two structural differences between DNA nucleotides and RNA nucleotides. When they say tabulate, you need to use a table. It's just that this question just says state. You just need to state them. There won't be a mark for a table. But when they say tabulate, you must draw a table. There will always be a mark for the table if they tell you to tabulate, and then there will be a mark for each and every individual point. So only two differences are able to give you 5 marks if it's a table question. All right. So bear in mind, guys, when they tell you to tabulate, please draw a table. Thing is, you can know the differences, but if you don't draw them in a table, you will be penalized. You will get 0 even if you write the correct thing, because they told you to tabulate. Okay, but for this one they say it's stated, so you can just state it. You can just tell us in any format of your choice. But when they say tabulate, there is a mark for the table. If you don't put the table, you lose all the marks. Are we together?
Yes, sir.